Hello, my lovelies. I'm doing something quite a long way out of my comfort zone, which is talking to you completely unscripted. Even when I did Tea in Jeopardy and interviewed people for that, the chat I had with them was unscripted, obviously. It was natural, but I'd prepared questions ahead of the interview, so I kind of had an idea about what I was going to talk about. And I hit upon this idea the other night that puzzles are really soothing. I find puzzles really soothing. I'm going through an incredibly difficult time at the moment, so I'm not able to do the things I usually do for work. And I was feeling stressed about that and guilty about that. And then I thought, well, maybe there could be a halfway house where I let myself continue to do jigsaw puzzles for my own mental health and to help me through this difficult time. But I talk to you at the same time as doing it. And I know there are like 10 million YouTube channels out there of people doing jigsaw puzzles, and you can watch to get that kind of sense of satisfaction and that soothing. But what I want to try and do is to combine the soothing visuals of doing a puzzle with talking about writing, the creative life, all sorts of things to do with the things that I do creatively. If this is the first time you've come across me, or rather just my voice, my name's Emma Newman, and I'm an audiobook narrator. My voice is very unwarmed up though. And I'm an author. And I've had 10 novels published, 2 novellas, loads of short stories and a couple of novelettes. But I'm having the year from hell, and I'm really struggling to write at the moment. I suffer from generalised anxiety disorder, and I've been very open about that online. I made the conscious choice to be open about that. And it's very tempting when you're a professional writer to only talk about writing when it's going well, and I'm lucky that I know lots of writers who don't do that. They talk about it when it's hard as well. And that's a really good thing, because we all need to not feel alone when things are tough. And oh boy, things are tough at the moment. I'm doing this jigsaw puzzle. Hope my light glare isn't too much. It's a bit difficult. It's the only lamp I've got that I can tape my GoPro to. But this is the puzzle I'm doing at the moment. Isn't it gorgeous? And I've already made a start. I've done my edge, all apart from one piece on the right hand side there that I couldn't find, and I've done the pen tops, and I've done a little bit of those letters on the right, and I've started to sort into different things, different features that I'm going to be working on next. That's how I approach puzzles, and I imagine most people start with the edge of the puzzle and then fill in various details around the edge. Within the puzzle. But I'm not really here to teach you how to do jigsaw puzzles, for heaven's sake. I'm here to just do the jigsaw puzzle and talk about things. And this is where the unscripted side of it comes in. I've decided that I'm not going to script these. I have a project in mind that I want to do involving YouTube. And I'm too scared to do it, quite frankly, because it involves filming me. You'll see me. I hate it when people can see me. And so I've been putting it off. And my life is not in a place to be able to embark upon a huge creative project like that right now, and I'll talk about that a little bit maybe. So I thought what I might do is just try and get used to talking to people who aren't there. It's different to audiobook narration, because I'm in a booth and there's a director and I'm reading words off a page, and yes, I'm not reading it to another person that's there. I mean, obviously the director is listening, but this is strange. This does not come naturally to me, is what I'm saying. So I thought that if I did this when no one can see me, which is always a bonus. I suppose you can see my hands, but that's I'm not worried about what my hands look like. Oh, I've got a hole in the cardi. I don't mind you seeing my hands, that's fine. But I'd much rather you see the pretty jigsaw puzzle pieces. I think I'm going to focus on some of these bits over here. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I just put that to one side. I don't have a lot of room. I don't have a lot of room full stop at the moment. My life is in a difficult place at the moment. I'm going through a divorce and sold the family home, and I am in the process of buying a new home for my son and I, and just as I thought we were going to exchange, 2 weeks after I moved out of my house and into temporary accommodation, which is where I am at the moment, the purchase was horribly delayed. And so instead of only being here for about 3 weeks, it looks like I could be here for up to 3 months. And it's cramped and far from ideal and very stressful. But it could be a lot worse, that's what I keep telling myself. But yeah, this last year has been horrendous. I'm pausing because I'm wondering what to say about this time. I don't want to talk about things that are too personal, but what I think I will talk about is how it's affected my creativity, because these things are important. This year has been and continues to be one of the worst years of my life. And it's a contender with a year about 4 years ago. When was it? 5 years ago? I'm not very good at remembering time. And in 1 year, I had very major surgery that had serious complications afterwards. My best friend died at the age of 41, and my mum was diagnosed with cancer. And it was horrendous. And it completely knocked the stuffing out of me. And it stretched into the next year as well, because the complications from the surgery actually meant that the following year I had to have another round of major surgery. And yeah, it was rubbish. And there were points that lasted for weeks where I thought that I would never ever be able to write again. There wasn't anything in me to write with. And that's how I've been feeling lately. And I've been thinking about this. I run a workshop at conventions about how to write despite anxiety. How to be scared and terrified of writing and find strategies to overcome that. And I feel it's still bloody hard, but I feel very confident about the techniques that I employ to get past fear if it's stopping me from writing. But when it comes to grief, when it comes to extreme emotional stress caused by real fundamental difficulties in life, such as where you live or divorce, I'm struggling to find a way to write despite those. And it's grief. It was the same when I had that hell year. Hell, that hell 18 months, I think it turned out to be. Bloody awful year. Grief is a completely different beast to anxiety for me. And this isn't going to be the same for everybody. There are some people who will be going through similar circumstances to mine and will find solace in the page and run to the page to get through this difficult time. It seems that that is not working for me at the moment. It has worked in the past. That piece does not go there. I don't know why you keep trying. Yeah. The other thing about grief and about depression, and I've had bouts of depression this year for obvious reasons, is that for me it feels like an absence. There is an absence of any kind of creative energy. And unlike anxiety and fear, I find it harder to challenge the internal demons. And also, the kind of stress that I've been under in recent months is extreme and utterly exhausting. Adapting to being a single parent and working out how to still do conventions and write and do all of the other bits and pieces that go along with being an author and an audiobook narrator has proven to be extremely difficult. And I'm still figuring it out. And supporting my child through a very difficult time as well. All of this takes energy. And whether that energy is being spent on taking care of loved ones or on sorting everything out to sell a house or move or whatever the expenditure, that energy is not available for other things. And that's certainly what I've found recently. It's been exhausting and there's been nothing left for anything else. I find jigsaw puzzles really helpful when I feel this way, when I get really, really stressed. Because there is something so soothing that you're aiming for. Having this chaotic mess at the beginning, and then gradually bringing order to that chaos. If only real life were that easy. I keep telling myself that this will pass. That at some point we will move into the new house. I will start a new life. I will have my own space. I will actually have a space devoted to writing again, which will be really nice. But this is just temporary. And one of the things that I talk about in my workshop is how important it is to practice self-care and compassion when things are difficult. Spoiler, I am really bad at doing that for myself. I wish that I could, be recording this and be able to say to you, and this is how I have overcome this difficult time and been able to write my next novel despite my life completely imploding around me. But I'm really sorry, I can't. Maybe that'll be reassuring in its own way. I don't know. I think the thing that's really nice about this, I wonder if I've been doing the jigsaw puzzle bits that I've just been doing completely off camera. Can you tell this is the first time I've done this? I've lost my train of thought now. Hopefully hearing that other writers go through difficult times whilst watching a puzzle being done will be soothing for you. Maybe you're going through something difficult too. With the way that politics is at the moment, we all are going through difficult times, but maybe there's stuff that's really difficult on a personal level too. I think that's what I wanted to do. I like helping people. I like helping people with the workshop. I like helping people at conventions. And I've had to pull out of one of my favourite conventions because I'm not able to go there. And so I thought if I did this, if I just sat somewhere that feels safe and did my jigsaw puzzle, that you could be soothed too. And that I could feel that I wasn't being completely useless at the moment, which is how I feel. And I know I'm not, because, for God's sake, I'm raising a child. And but still, I thought that maybe this would help. There's some writing there. What's going on? Oh, so that's that bit there, isn't it? Colour charts. Ooh, so that's already got some writing up there on the top edge. Everything feels stuck at the moment. I'm in this limbo, and because of how unsettled I feel and how far from secure I feel at the moment, I've really noticed that that's had a huge impact on my ability to create, which I find interesting. You know, it's always interesting when you notice something that your creativity relies upon that you weren't necessarily conscious of before. There is a room upstairs where my bed is. It's a very cramped room, and it has my writing desk in there and my bed and nothing much else. And my computer is there. I could go and write, but what I've found is that the stress of things recently have just removed my ability to spend time thinking about writing. It's made me appreciate how much time, mental space and time I need when I'm working, especially on a new project. It may have been different if this all happened when I was in the middle of a book. I may have had the momentum to carry on through. But because I'm at the beginning of a new project, there's a huge amount of energy that needs to go into a new project. It's almost like overcoming inertia or something, I want to say, some kind of metaphor to do with escaping some kind of gravitational pull. But yeah, it's inertia, I think, more than anything. I think that's the most appropriate metaphor. The inertia of the beginning of a new project. You need lots of energy to get going because there's nothing already established. And the way that things have been lately have meant that I haven't had the mental room to begin to cultivate these new characters and this new world. I've written the first chapter. I did that earlier in the year somehow, but that was before I sold the house. And the house sale process took weeks of my time because there was only me, and I had to do all of the things that were required to sell it, whilst also taking care of my child and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to talk about all kinds of things. I asked on Twitter, I'm Emapocalyptic on Twitter, by the way, EM Apocalyptic. And I asked the lovelies on Twitter what they would like to hear me talk about. And I'm going to work my way through. There were loads and loads of suggestions, which is fantastic. And I'm gradually going to work my way through them just as I work through my puzzles. But I feel like this video I want to just say, yeah, sometimes life just really kicks you in the ass. And you just have to take the hit and go, yeah, something really awful is happening. And I can't just write my way out of this right now. It may be that I need to postpone the book that I want to write next and instead write something just for me, not writing anything for the next contract. There is something that's crossed my mind. Kind of a healing project. I've been really tempted to go back to the split worlds, actually. I guess looking for some kind of comfort. If I still wrote fanfic, this is the time for it, I guess. But I don't write it anymore, and I haven't felt a pull to either. I haven't done that for years and years and years and years. My fanfic brain was being merrily entertained by LARP fic last year, but unfortunately things went very badly wrong with the person I was writing and playing that plotline with, so that came to an end too. So there isn't... But then saying that, I don't really feel like writing that either. Sometimes we just have to accept that we just have to kind of get through, hunker down and get through. Like those trees in Cornwall on the coast. I grew up in Cornwall, and one of the things I love most about it is those trees that are bent in a particular orientation by the prevailing winds. They've just had to hunker down and survive the onslaught of the prevailing winds from the Atlantic. And I've always admired them. Maybe this is just the time that I have to be like one of those trees, hunker down and endure, and just have faith that at some point I will feel able to write again. And it's not like a block. When I write when I'm writing a project, so I've just realised that that's probably going to go round that way. yeah, when I'm writing a project, if I get stuck at some point and grind to a halt, it's usually because there's something I haven't figured out about the scene, or I'm going in the wrong direction, or I'm continuing to write according to a rough idea of that chapter, and then suddenly my brain has realised, no, that doesn't quite work anymore, but my conscious brain hasn't caught up yet. And I can take a step back and then just kind of work back to the place where it felt like it was flowing and look at where it's not working anymore. You know, I know that there is a, mechanical is the wrong word, but there is an actual reason, an actual problem that needs to be solved. This doesn't feel like that at all. It's just like I'm empty. There is just grief there. And exhaustion. And I don't feel I can kind of intellectually push my way through that. I don't know if this is going to be soothing or not now that I'm thinking about it. I'm starting to have doubts about whether I should put this online, blah, 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 blah. But I do think that there is merit in people talking about things when they're hard. Because we're all going to find things difficult from time to time. People are going to die. Marriages are going to end. And knowing that people go through terrible times and then recover and go on to make your favourite film or write your favourite song or whatever is heartening. I was at Galan's Fest last weekend, I think it was. And whilst I was in my hotel room and recovering from the day, there was this documentary on Eric Clapton's life. And I'm not really I knew some of his music when it came up in the documentary, but I wouldn't say that I'm a fan. And it was really interesting because all of the music of his that I knew was from the 80s, when I was growing up. And of course he had a career that was much, much, much earlier than that too, but he had that period in the middle where he had huge, huge personal problems and effectively became a hermit and cloistered himself away and did some really quite terrible things at points. And then he came back. And then he wrote Emmy Award-winning songs and had an incredible career. And I found myself watching that thinking, well, maybe there's hope for me then. Which is rather narcissistic and selfish, I suppose, but I guess I was looking for some kind of hope. And it gave it to me. That documentary did give it to me. It was on BBC4, I think. Oh, it's so nice when the pieces all go together. I'm going to close comments. I have no comments open on any of the videos I post up because YouTube comment threads are scary. And I really don't have the spoons to cope. But it's easy to get in touch with me if you want to. I probably won't be able to answer anything because, well, you understand now, there's a lot going on and I really don't have many spoons left. But you can get in touch with me through my website, which is www.enewman.co.uk. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, both as Emapocalyptic. I'm on Facebook too, but I'm a little bit uncertain about what I'm doing with Facebook at the moment. I've gone quiet. Maybe I should be talking or something, shouldn't I? But sometimes you just need to... Ah, that still does not go there. I really wanted to go there. I'm going to try and find it. Where can I put this? I love that sound. Oh, I do. Because I'm in a very small, cramped house at the moment. I may well be doing this puzzle during times when I can't record, so I apologise in advance that you may miss out on chunks of progress, because I will need to do my puzzle that I won't be able to record. I suppose this... Maybe I should see this as a period of lying fallow. If we're going to look at it in terms of crop rotation, which immediately wants me to launch into the Young Ones sketch, where they're on the train to go on to University Challenge, and there's the whole crop rotation thing. My God, I can still remember huge chunks of that. I used to know the entire sketch off by heart, and me and one of my best friends at school used to do it. But anyway, that's not what I need to talk about right now. That would be stupid. That I've written many books over recent years. Maybe it's okay to have a period where I don't. And maybe this lying fallow will be useful. I don't know. It sucks. I just want to live in my house and start to rebuild my life and be creative. You know, that's not entirely true. I am being creative, just in different ways. I can't write at the moment. I've been doing things with beading and learning new techniques. I'm learning this shibori technique for ribbon. It's beautiful. Maybe I'll talk about that in another video. So not every ounce of creativity has gone. It's just a particular flavour of creativity which is gone at the moment. Woo! That's probably enough rambling from me. I'll talk about something more constructive and useful next time. But as you know, as I said, hopefully maybe someone will find it useful to hear that creatives sometimes just can't. Sometimes life is just too horrible. Sometimes too much stuffing is knocked out of you to be able to write. And that's got to be okay. I don't feel like it's okay. It doesn't feel okay to me right now. But you know, if anyone else in the entire universe was telling me about what they'd been through this year, and it was what I've been through this year, and talked about how hard it was for Wright, you can bet your ass I'd be saying, oh, that's totally fine. You've been through a lot. Of course you're finding it difficult. Can I do that for myself? Can I, bugger? I don't know whether I'm going to edit this video or just kind of chuck it all up. I think it would be good for me to just put it up, not worry too much about it. Because I'm such a perfectionist. That still does not go there. I'm such a perfectionist. And perfectionism is the enemy of done. And is my other YouTube thing done? No. So maybe I should just chuck this up. As it is. It's a bit scary, the prospect of being that unpolished. Ooh. I think... Oh, I've just hit my microphone. Sorry. I think that bit is going to go up there. Right. It's the best way. Let's move it this way. Because I think those bits there are going to join up. And that'll make me happy. Oh, yes. Ah, that's so satisfying. And now I've got a nice big patch here that I can put things in. I guess this is also an insight into just how boring I am in real life. Massive introvert who likes doing jigsaw puzzles. But honestly, if you suffer from anxiety, oh, give jigsaw puzzles a go. They're really soothing. Oh, that goes down there, doesn't it? Okay. There's a bit of me as I'm recording this thinking, this is not interesting. This is not entertaining. This is... yeah, this is not worthwhile. There's no narrative here. But I think this is different, and something that I've been thinking a lot about recently is about the nature of what we consider to be a viable YouTube idea for entertainment purposes. Like if people can record themselves playing video games, I can record myself doing a puzzle, surely. And ooh, I like this bit of pencil. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I wonder if that actually goes at the... Oh! Yes! That is good, yes. Oh, I think that's a bit of cappuccino or whatever it is. Maybe you're at home watching this, doing your own crafting. Maybe we can just keep each other company. I don't know. Right, I'm going to pause the video there. If you're going through a hard time too, can I send you a hug? It will get better. It has to. I will not allow it otherwise. But honestly, seriously, if you're going through a hard time too, and you need a virtual hug, here is one from me. Somehow that... How can I convey a virtual hug? I'll see you for the next bit of the puzzle, though there may, of course, obviously be a big gap. Take care, my lovelies.